welcome to my channel, and I am here to do my tarot TBR for September. September is going to be a pretty busy month for me. I have my dad's birthday on the 1st, mine is on the 6th, and mine and Jordan's wedding anniversary is on the 15th. So it's going to be jam-packed with celebrating and things of the like. And yeah, and we got some book club books to read. We have the Maybon round of Witchathon that is happening on the 23rd of September. It's a 24-hour round this time. I'm hoping to do some sprints for that day. I don't know about doing it for the entire 24 hours, but at least for a good majority of the day, I would like to do it. So we will see. So Mote It Be Book Club will have the live on the 10th of September. I believe that's the date. It's not the first Saturday, but the second Saturday, to go over Practical Magic by Nikki Vandekar. The September book that we will be reading is These Witches Won't Burn. I am blanking on the author's name at the moment because I don't have a copy in front of me. So I do plan on reading that book for this month. And the reading by candlelight book pick is Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. So I'm hoping to get that. I'm excited to continue the Scythe series. So those are at least 2 books I do plan on getting to in the month of September, and along with the other things that are happening. And there are some fun things that are going to be happening for the rest of the month as well. I will let you guys know as it happens. But I do have some new things to add to the tarot TBR. I have a bunch of playing decks, like regular playing decks here. I have quite a few. There's 2 in this, and I have these 3. I also have a specialty deck that I'm not using. I'm just using it as a decoration because it's a limited edition Nightmare Before Christmas one from the Disney parks. So I'm not using those, but I just wanted to go over what I'm adding into the game. You won't see all of them being used in this round because I did go ahead and do my card draws as I did before, always do beforehand. But we have the Nightmare Before Christmas playing cards deck. This is just going to be used for my past TBRs. I went back through my reading journal. Any books that I haven't read yet that's been on past TBRs, I've made a list and used washi tape on the cards themselves, so you will see them as they come up. I shuffle those. Whatever book gets pulled, I'm going to try to attempt to read it during this month. If I don't read it during this month, they still stay in the stack. And as I continue on with tarot TBR, more books will be added to it because we all know I'm a mood reader and I don't always stick to the tarot TBR. This kind of just gives me a good range of what to pick from, and whenever I go to my library and browse, I tend to pick up a whole bunch of other stuff. We all know this, but we have past TBRs. Then for one of my Harry Potter decks, this one is just the different Harry Potter houses with the crest. I have booktube. So I have a going Notion sheet that will have, anytime I read somebody's reading wrap up on booktube and they give a book 5 stars, it will automatically go on to this list. This is kind of like a booktube recommends or booktube loved books. So some books will be on here multiple times. If I happen to draw a card that I had previously had read and just happened to be a duplicate, then it will kind of just be a mood read. But yeah, booktube recommends. And I have this Tim Burton deck itself. This would be recommendations. I asked a bunch of my friends for book recommendations of what they would like to see me read. And if you have any recommendations of books you would like to see me read, you can leave them in the comments below and I will add them to the spreadsheet. But this deck is specifically for books that have been recommended to me by people in my life that I am in constant contact with. And if you guys would like to be part of it, you can leave me a comment down below with a recommendation. And then this dual set that I have here is going to be a little bit different. I have a Harry Potter Artifacts deck. I'll just show the one card. They look like this. They're pretty similar in style, but this will have age groups. So when I have to draw an extra card for this one and I draw this one, it will have from adult, new adult, young adult, middle grade, and children's. And they're all, I don't know how many is repeated over the time, they're just randomized in here. Anytime I draw a card, I have to find a book that fits in this age range. It can be any book whatsoever, it just has to fit this age range. And this other set of cards, which is different scenes in the book, this is genres. So it kind of falls into the same vein as the age range. It can be any age range, but it has to fit that genre. It can have a different subgenre, or the subgenre can be that type of genre. It's just I have to find a book that is in that realm of that genre. So those are the new additions to the game. They are being assigned to certain major arcana cards. They're not linked to any of the minor cards. I still have one minor card that I don't have an oracle deck set for, but that just all depends on if I happen to pick up any within the next couple of months, because I tend to get decks for my birthday sometimes, so I am not sure. We may get an extra oracle deck thrown in the mix in the future, but for right now we have these playing cards, and I'm pretty excited to see how they add to the chaos. So let's go to the card draws. Let's do some shuffles. I'm using my Pagan Cats tarot deck for this month. Since it is my birthday month, I wanted to use the deck that of something that I know I love, which is, if you're new to this channel, I have 6 cats, so I obviously love them all. So let's get to shuffling. The first shuffle, 6 of Wands reversed. Let's hope that it's kind to me this month. Second shuffle, excuse me. Some cards trying to flip on me, so I guess this is for the second shuffle. Queen of Swords. The Tower reversed. I don't like that one. And 5 of Cups reversed. So one more shuffle. Alright. I'll have to check my notes and see which one this one is. Okay, this is the Pope card reversed. Focus. There it is. Okay, since we got a Swords card, we have to do a card from the spellcasting deck. This one's insignificant. And the Justice card. Cups card calls for an Animal Spirits deck shuffle. No. Knew it was too good to be true. Okay. Let's see. Got the lamb, tiger, dragonfly, tarantula, fire ant, snake, buffalo, elephant, moth, raccoon, scorpion, elk, crow, and lizard. It's like a quarter of the deck there. And I did spruce up the game a little bit. So there are certain major arcana cards that will have an additional draw card. With the Pope card being one of them, I have a deck of playing cards. This is just my Nightmare Before Christmas playing card, normal playing card deck. I have this assigned to books that were on my TBR in the past, and I'm going to try to get to them eventually. So there may be duplicates in this, I'm not too sure, but I have these cards where I have washi tape with the type of what book it is. So we will shuffle and see what books I have to add back to this month's TBR and hopefully finally get to some of them. And I do have additional playing cards assigned to other cards. We'll just have to see what the game is like in future rounds. Okay, let's see. This one, you can barely read it, but it says the 5th season. So the 5th season will be on this month's TBR. Is the 6 of Wands reversed. If I can focus. Anyways, this is showing self-doubt, lack of recognition, and punishment. So for this, I went with the prompt that is a book that my sister read, but she didn't like. And she had read years ago a book, Christie by Catherine Marshall. I don't know anything about this book whatsoever, other than it took her the longest time to read, and it was recommended to her, and she just couldn't get into it. And this was the book that kind of introduced her to the concept of DNFing. So, Christie by Catherine Marshall. Next, I have Queen of Swords. This is complexity, perceptive, clear-mindedness. And with this, I need a book with a coin, a sword, cup, or wand on the cover or in the title. So any of the suits of the tarot cards need to be in it. And I went with Kitchen Table Magic, Pull Up a Chair, Light a Candle, and Let's Talk Magic by Melissa Sonova. This is a book that I just bought like a week or two ago, and it's one of my I'm deeming my birthday purchase. So anything between, as I'm filming this now, like almost 2 weeks before my birthday to a little bit after, I am deeming birthday purchases. And this was one of them. This has on here, you can see on the book stand, has a pentacle, and pentacles are normally like they're interchangeable with coins. So I am counting that. And you see tarot cards on the deck, on the desk as well. This, I believe it's the same author, has Kitchen Table Tarot that I'm interested in getting, but I am excited to get into this book for my witchy read for the month. And because I drew a swords card, I had to draw or shuffle through my spell casting deck, and I got Justice. And for this, I decided to go with a book that features a crime that gets resolved, because with it being Justice. And I'm going with Bel Canto by Ann Patchett. I read this one time before, a few years ago now, and it has to do with a hostage situation in South America at the home of the vice president. And it has music being a big theme, because there's an opera singer that's involved in this hostage situation as well. and it does end up being resolved at the end. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I thought it would be a good time to reread this, would be for the Justice card. Next, I have the Tower reversed. Disaster avoided, delaying disasters, fear of suffering. So I'm going to do a second chance author. I had read a book from Cassandra Caw, not this last month, but the month before for Summerween, Nothing But Blackened Teeth. And I was just kind of on the fence about her writing, but I'm going to give her one more chance and read The Salt Grows Heavy. I believe this is one of her, a recent release for her, so I'm going to give her another shot and read this book. Next, we have a Five of Cups reversed. Acceptance, moving on, finding peace. So a story with a growth plot. And this, I'm going to continue on a series that I happen to starting to love, and I got the finished copies from Tor. And this is book 2 in the Green Creek series, Raven Song by TJ Klune. I loved reading Wolf Song, so when I got the finished copies for book 1 and book 2, I was in shock because I wasn't anticipating getting actual finished copies of these. But I'm super excited to continue this series. This happens during the time of book 1, but it is told from a different character's point of view, and the character has a lot of kind of like trauma and mental hang-ups that he's going through, so I believe this will be a perfect one for seeing his growth during this time. Then, because I got Cups card, I had to shuffle my Animal Spirits deck, and it decided to give me at least a quarter of the deck itself. The first being Lizard. In Egyptian myth, they are represented as divine wisdom and good fortune. So I am wanting to read a book that's inspired by Egyptian mythology, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's Neferia by Magdalene Evans. I don't know what this book is about other than it has to do with Egyptian mythology, so I'm excited to do that. We all know that I'm a big fan of mythology retellings, so I'm excited to get into that. Next, I got The Crow, and crows are often appeared as tricksters, so I went on that realm and am going to finally do my reread of Trickster's Choice by Tamora Pierce. I read this once, almost 15 years ago now. I really don't remember anything about it, but it's supposed to be following Alana's daughter, who is a major character in one of her first major series, so which I'll talk more about that in a minute, but I would like to reread Trickster's Choice. I have Trickster's Queen as well on my shelf that I've been meaning to read for the longest time, but I'm super excited to get back into her writing. And on that same vein, I got Elk, which is usually representative of stable, resilient, and headstrong. And going back to Tamora Pierce, I will be rereading Alana, the First Adventure. This is the main characters of this book, her mom. So you'll follow her adventure as she is switching places with her twin brother to become training as a knight, and so her brother can train as a mage, because there are specific gender roles in this world that really boxes women and men into certain roles. Men have to become knights, and women are the only ones that can do magic. So yeah, so they're switching places and disguising themselves as one another, and I'm excited to get back into it because I really love this world. Then I got Scorpion, which represents passion, competitiveness, or tends towards the isolation. And with this type of thing, will also get the fiery passion with scorpions are representing the Scorpio zodiac sign, and they're known to be kind of a spicy variety. But I'm gonna reread Love is Hell, which is an anthology of many different authors that I read before. I've read this quite a few times, like throughout high school. I really enjoyed it. They're kind of like horror romance stories in a way. It has 5 supernatural stories written by Melissa Marr, Scott Westerfeld, Justine LaBroster, Gabrielle Zevin, and Laura Ferris Stolzer. I'm probably butchering their names, but love may be twisted and turned around, but it's more potent than ever on its quest to conquer all. So there's many different ones. There's like a specific series that is Blank is Hell, that takes certain twists that are important to teenagers. I think there's like a Prom is Hell one. Can't remember if I read that one, but I happened to pick this up at Walmart of all places years ago and really enjoyed it. This is probably one of my first introductions into the horror genre, so I'm looking forward to getting back into this. Next is Raccoon. Raccoons are talented. They represent the shadow and are excellent at hiding. With this, I'm going with the talented part because from what I can remember of this book, I am going to be reading Art in America by Ron McLarty. This will be a reread to determine if I want to keep it on my shelves, because I read this also about 10 years ago and I really don't remember much about it, to be honest. It just says that this book is about Stephen Cairnsey, is a bumbling, overweight man in his late 40s who has produced thousands of pages of novels, plays, and poems, not a single one of which has ever been published. After being thrown out of his Manhattan apartment, Cairney takes shelter with his longtime pal, Wark, an actress and director. One day, out of the blue, he's offered a position as playwright in residence for 3 months at the Creedmoor Historical Society in rural southern Colorado, which wants him to write and direct a historical play about the town. But when he arrives, all hell breaks loose. And it goes on and talking about like small town politics and things like that. I remember there being a play involved into this, so that's why I'm taking the talent part of it, but other than that, I really don't remember much about this, so it will determine whether or not it stays on my shelves and if it will warrant a future reread. Then we had Moth. Impulsive, hasty, and wishful. So I went down my NetGalley rabbit hole and am going to try to read The Donut Trap by Julie Tuing. This is a contemporary romance. I don't know much about it. I believe it's supposed to be a Asian American one. I'm not entirely too sure. I could be wrong, but I needed to get some NetGalley books down because I've recently gotten more, even though I shouldn't have. But I've heard some good things about this one, so I would like to give that a try. Then we have Elephant. Normally elephants are known as being wise, so I'm going to read another NetGalley book, The Tree Horoscope by Daniela Christine Hubbard. This is one that obviously goes over the different tree horoscopes. I'm eager to learn more about that because it sounded pretty interesting when I requested it. Next, Buffalo. They are usually representative of abundance and manifestation. I have an abundance of NetGalley books, but I can't get to this specific NetGalley book, and this was a previous tarot TBR book, but Twin Daggers by Mercy Kate Conley. I need to read this one before I can get to Heartless Heirs, which is a NetGalley book that I need to review. So I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe I'll get to it this time around. And we have Snake, which usually represents cunning. So I'm going to read Mark of the Wicked by Georgia Bowers. I don't know anything about this book. So we'll see how it goes. And we have Fire Ant. They are representative of hard work because they like work together to get things done. So hard work, I'm going to do like another Nat Galley book, but it's a craft book that I've been meaning to review, is Wardrobe Embroidery by Warren Bolstead. I am interested in doing some embroidery. I have a couple of kits that I just haven't gotten to yet, and I'm hoping that this kind of brings me some inspiration. Next we have Tarantella, which is usually associated with fear. A lot of spiders tend to be associated with fear, so I'm going with a horror and going to try to read Carrie by Stephen King. I only read one Stephen King before, and that was The Shining. It was just kind of okay to me, and the movie wasn't that great in my opinion, so I'm hoping to kind of do the same thing of reading Carrie and possibly watching it later on. Next we have Dragonfly. They are representative of transformation. I would like to read Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. I've read the Heartstopper series and Loveless, but I do want to read more of Alice Oseman's work, so I would like to get to that. We have Tiger. Strong and fierce, so I would like to read The Deep by River Solomon. From what I've been told, this is about black mermaids and just the fierceness I've heard of this book I would like to read, so I associated that book with the fierceness of a tiger. And then finally the last animal spirits card we have is the Lamb. They are known as being sweet and gentle, so I would like to read Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Mine. I haven't read the actual book, but I had been obsessed with Winnie the Pooh as a child, so it's about time that I actually read the book. And then we have the Pope Reverse card. This means rebellion, new methods, so I want to read a new release, which is Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, excuse me. I think this is supposed to be kind of like set in like old Hollywood style. I could be mixing up with one of her other books, but I read Mexican Gothic by her a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it and have been meaning to read more of her backlist. And we did have, because of the Pope card, that is the card that gets the past TBR shuffle, and I ended up getting 5th Season by Uncanny Jemison. I had, who knows how many times I put this book on TBR, and I really would like to get to it. It sounds super interesting. I believe it's got told in second person, which I don't read a whole lot in that point of view, so we will see how I enjoy that. But that is my TBR. 22 books for, I believe 22 books for the month of September. Hopefully I can get to most of these, and of course a lot of these are going to be like ebooks or audiobooks, but this is the physical stack that I have. So we will see if I can get to all these, along with whatever else I happen to pick up during the month. So, but let me know in the comments down below what you think I should start with for the month of September. Let me know also if you're going to be joining in the Maybon readathon at the closer to the end of the month. Like this video if you liked it, and subscribe to keep up to date with any new videos I come out with in the future. Until then, you guys, bye.